Good evening. I've been asked to tell you that the following comic books are very scary. You see, there are some crybabies out there, religious types mostly, who might be offended. And if you are one of them, I advise you to turn off YouTube now. Come on. I dare you. Chicken. It's simply not Halloween without The Simpsons. Every single year without fail, I watch a crap ton of Halloween specials and play through The Simpsons Hit and Run for that sweet, sweet final level. Last year, we read through some terrible, bone-chilling issues of the Treehouse of Horror, and now, we're going to do it again. I think we've got over some of the early issue awkwardness last year, so this run should be pure Simpson goodness. Oh, never mind, it's that little Wiener Millhouse. Oi, looks like we've got another grim one to get through before we can read the good issues. Strap in, mate, because first, we've got a story called I Faced Tahn En Baum, some cringy alien Christmas tree. Didn't the actual show do a story like this once? In need of a new tree, 3 days before Christmas, Lisa insists that the family get a live tree rather than a fake one, and the Simpson family find one that'll make their holiday both holly and jolly. Let me just check the cover real quick. Ah, crap. I guess it doesn't specify Hell-O-Ween, it just says horror, and yet having to read this does fill me with a certain sense of dread, so fair play. Even though the family did what Lisa wanted, despite great effort, the little know-it-all still isn't happy because she doesn't know the exact type of tree that now sits in their living room. Who the hell cares? And the reason that the genus isn't in her nerd books is because the tree is not from this world. It is named Tahn En Baum, a tree-like alien life form that has infiltrated the Earth as a scout so that its species may seize the planet for itself. The troop of terrifying trees intend on seizing the Earth's resources for themselves, enslaving humanity, and ruling with a wooden fist. You know, tree stuff. Lisa has a chance to spare the Earth this fate right now, but she's such a tree-hugging loser that she can't chop Tahn En Baum. The situation has her stumped. So she looks for someone else to do her dirty work, but who could accomplish such a Herculean task? Nuts to this, she just gets Homer Simpson, but her dad doesn't believe it. And hey look, references to episodes, nice dude. Homer has seen Nightmare Cafeteria. Homer refuses to chop down the tree, and Lisa surrenders to despair. But my favourite character ends up saving the day anyway when he tries watering Tahn En Baum and trips, dropping the bucket of water onto the sockets powering the Christmas lights. Tahn En Baum is fried, and the approaching Evergreen army make like trees and leave. The Christmas conqueror is off. Oh, but apparently the Easter attack is still on. What the hell was that? Weird start, not gonna lie, but how true to life. Christmas already infringes on Halloween's territory more and more each year. I always see trees going up before the skeleton decorations have had their time to shine. One more bad story, just one more, and then we're in the good issues, I promise. This one is about tattoos. They're scary, aren't they? I ordered a Halloween special, and I'm gonna get a Halloween special. Well, this one's more of an anthology, full of shorter stories that this tattooed man's ink tells. So let's see if any are actually spooky. One's about a zombie who Patty and Selma want to shag, but he'd rather be dead. That's kinda funny. Next one's about this dismembered arm terrorising Springfield, but that's it. That's the whole joke. Oh no, wait. They arrest the one-armed weapons dealer, Herman, and yeah, that's his full name. That's kinda funny. One about Lisa that I wasn't smart enough to get the joke on. And one where Bart and Milhouse think groundskeeper Willie has 2 heads because of the way he carries this basket. And because of how knackered Willie is, they believe this second head to be evil. So they plan to chop Willie's head clean off, Jesus. But in the end, the basket was just full of his shopping. Ooh, spooky twist. Skinner actually did have 2 heads. This last one was quite fun, to be fair. But overall, this issue wasn't great, but it didn't hit the lows that we've already seen. Do you remember Call Me Homer from issue 1? Issue 5, mate, now, and I remember owning this one as a kid. So let's see if they're as fun as I remember. Dark Lisa does what Halloween specials do best and parodies a horror movie with an added bit of fun. Lisa isn't having a good day at school. First, her complaining about no vegetarian meals earns her the ire of her schoolmates, and the chef's confusion gets her a meaty meal of fish anyway. But Lisa's annoying actions don't just give her trouble. Bart's family relation puts him in the kids' crosshairs too, and he's getting sick of it. So, he dumps chili on his vegetarian sister through the showers. This is Stephen King's Carrie, if you haven't realised it yet. When Principal Skinner tries to blame Lisa for the mess, something inside her snaps, and the physical world reacts to her anger. Skinner's coffee cup explodes at Lisa's outburst, so the confused and terrified teachers send her home early. When Ralph Wiggum gives a crap, it happens again. The mere thought of hurting Ralph makes Lisa's imagination a reality. Homer, there he is mate, my favourite. But he's driving away. He and Marge are on the way to get Bart out of the reform school that Skinner sent him to for the chili prank, so Lisa has to live with Ned until they return, like in Carrie where she's got an overly religious mum, but more annoying. But an overly friendly neighbourino is the least of Lisa's problems, because the bullies at school are about to take their abuse to the next level. But savvy Lisa Simpson clocks onto the bullies' plan. She must have already read some Stephen King, because she accurately predicts that Jessica and Nelson's plan is to have her crowned prom queen and then dunk chili on her. Nelson panics and legs it, but still, the cheek mate. Lisa's had enough of her nasty schoolmates, and Milhouse's comics give her the idea to go Dark Phoenix on all the bullies. But the other innocent kids get caught in the crossfire. Lisa goes mental and wipes out the whole school. Lisa's devastated at what she's done, but there is still hope. A man named Professor B promises to take her in and help her use her powers for good. Nah mate, it's Mr. Boo Earns. It was his radioactive fish in Lisa's meal that gave her powers. Why? Because he wants a cheaper way to power his plant, obviously. And our hero, Mr. Burns, gets his wish as Dark Lisa pays for her sins. As Lisa stories go, this was okay because it was at least interesting, but Mr. Burns turns this into a gold star story, mate. Alongside Homer and Moe, Monty Burns is always fantastic. Like I said, parody is the Simpsons' best strength, and Carrie is well known enough that even young me knew what was going on in this issue. Hell, even Lisa knew the plot enough to spell it out to Nelson. Grim about the innocent kids getting massacred, but it's Halloween, innit? This story was certainly the best so far this video, and I'd class it as the second best overall so far, behind issue 3's Immigration of the Body Snatchers. Next we've... sod off, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. The big head Mr. Burns gave the family when Bart gave him blood in season 2. This story is about the religion that follows the head, praising their god on Halloween night. But after the ceremony, the streets of Springfield get spookier than usual. The dead walk. Some sort of curse has been cast upon the town of Springfield. But they still have fun with it, that's the important part. Turns out the dead have risen because Homer, the absolute legend that he is, ate all the decorations surrounding the ancient head, the gifts from the living that was supposed to keep the dead restful. So, the Simpsons set out to restore the stolen food. And thanks to Apu, they manage it by stuffing the head with Quickie Mart junk foods. Mate, remember when Apu was the 5th playable character in Hit and Run? Remember when Apu was a popular, prominent character with jokes and backstory and substance? Remember Apu? And, hilariously, the whole thing starts all over again when Homer wakes up the next morning hungry. This story felt like an excuse to have fun in zombie Springfield, seeing the citizens' funny reactions like Burns thinking that the power plant caused the zombies, or the school punks getting mad that the undead cause more destruction than they do. In this one page here, every dialogue bubble is a joke. Well done. And here's a Batman 66 reference with Eddie. Who's this lady in pink? I feel like she's the corpse of a character from the cartoon, but I can't remember the name. Oh, and there's Wally down by Moe's. Or, for you Yanks, Waldo. Oh dude, look, we were just praising Apu, and it turns out issue 5's final story focuses on the lean mean Vindaloo machine. A delivery mix-up between an experimental teleporter and a Quickie Mart hot dog warmer leaves Apu holding Mr. Burns' newest weapon, and when Butterfinger's Homer drops it, a stray beam blasts Xt'tapalatakettle to Rigel 7, where he lands on and kills Kodos of Kang and Kodos fame, just as the alien siblings were set to overthrow the tyrannical ruler of their planet. Apu's teleporter's busted, he needs someone smart to fix it, and Kang needs someone tough to help him defeat the dictator. It's time for a team-up. Apu and Kang take the fight to the ruler, the being known as Bernzak. But the oddly familiar foe seems too powerful for our Hindu hero. But, like his prices, Apu cannot be beat. A stale donut takes Bernzak down. Kang takes a laser to the face, but he's an alien, he's fine. He fixed Apu's teleporter and sent him home. But, like the planet Earth itself, spinning, spinning and spinning, life goes on in a vicious circle for Apu, as the next time an innocent delivery mix-up occurs, his nightmare begins again. Hey, this issue turned out not half bad. Every story was at least a 7 out of 10. I love seeing the art evolve as these go on. The cartoon obviously has that usual style, so seeing the characters more warped or drawn grittier, it's fun to see. Issue 6, our final for the night. Let's see what frights await us here. Hell-O-Ween starts with a street party, and look at all these references, mate. Nelson actually came as Orion. Christ, imagine a world where the new gods were popular enough to be Halloween costumes. Meanwhile, Satan himself is growing bored of the monotony of ruling hell, so his old chum, Monty Burns, suggests shaking things up by possessing children. And handily, Burns holds the rights to some kids' souls thanks to union negotiations. The souls of Bart and Lisa Simpson. The devil sends his goons to collect, but thanks to a prank by Bart, they mistake the Simpson house for the one next door. Rod and Todd Flanders get sent to hell as their bodies are hijacked by Satan's minions. And the monster men get to work on destroying the kids' reputations. Using their fiendish magic, they crash the block party and cause havoc. In comes comic book guy with the worst reference ever in retrospect, though I would like to hear his thoughts on Under the Hood. Those not killed by the kids are transformed into their costumes. Yet somehow the Simpson family are unaffected. Ha! It's because Homer steals his water from the church, and it's holy water. Once again my man comes in clutch. In fact, Homer's more useful than he first appears because Ned comes to him for help. After all, Homer knows what it's like to raise a little demon. But even better is Homer's already got a portal to hell in his house. What luck. So to save his children, Ned Flanders storms hell itself. And yes, Starbucks is crap. So's Costa before you start feeling smug. Coffee house is king. Hell doesn't seem all that threatening, if I'm honest. The crew kinda just walk through the quirky landscape. Pretty funny though, like the pony to tempt Lisa just smokes and swears. Eventually, they find the boys, and they're playing D&D. Ned is about to kick some demon ass, but then someone else beats him to it. Maud Flanders, Ned's dead wife, and she's ready to use her holy powers to save her family. But apparently her husband doesn't have the same dedication she does, because thanks to Homer we learn Ned is dating again. Betrayed, Marge retreats to heaven, leaving Homer's gang to fend for themselves. I love how Homer's always ready for a scrap, mate. Remember he did fight Drederick Tatum once, but the satanic scrap is stopped by the man himself when the devil appears. But everything works out nicely when Ned agrees to cover some of the devil's shifts in exchange for his boys being returned to him. And we end on the funny joke of Ned making hell so lame that Homer and Bart plan to be better Christians. This was a fun one. I love the references to the show, like Burns being mates with Satan and Ned becoming the devil. It's always the one you least suspect. Marge returned and almost got a cool scene before Homer ruined it. So far so good. The next story is called Metamorphsimpson, starring the main man Homer. Finally, a Homer-centric story. Every issue in this video has had Homer on the sidelines, so it's about bloody time. Homer awakens in horror as he discovers he's transformed into a cockroach, and his family aren't that thrilled about it either. The Simpsons try to accept their patriarch's new way of life, but it seems they just can't help but be bugged by Homer's situation. So when Bart accidentally kills his father, they all cheer and celebrate. Hang on a minute. And yeah, there's the twist ending of it all being a dream, but when Homer really wakes up, you find out the whole family are actually cockroaches. This story just made me feel really bad for Homer. Something tragic happens to him, and his family just abandon him. Jesus Christ, they cheer when he dies, mate. This was grim. I hope the next one's more light-hearted. Young Frinkenstein opens with Bart dying in a hit and run. For the love of God, I said light-hearted. It's one thing to be killed by a cool guy like Sideshow Bob, but here, the squeaky-voiced teen takes Bart out. Cringy, mate. But Professor Frink recovers the bodies for some fun old mad science. Sorry, make that Professor Frinkenstein. His deformed flying monkey assistant takes the money Frink keeps in a retinal scanning safe to buy the necessary equipment, and the mad professor's dreams of reanimating a corpse comes to life. Bart's head on the teen's body seems like a dream come true for the newly revived Simpson. He can't wait to go and do all the teenage things he's no doubt seen on the telly. But Frink says no. He needs to keep Bart under wraps until he can present him to the scientific community. But do we really think Bart's gonna listen to his elder? Maybe he should have, because when the local teens don't take to him, Bart nearly kills one by accident. Fearing early discovery, Frinkenstein decides to change Bart's face to fool any police that track them down, and the perfect patsy falls into his lap. Now all it'll take is a simple operation to change Bart's face forever. And not just Bart's, because Frinkenstein takes the handsome stranger's face for himself, donating his own goofy look to his creation. But it's not just Frink's face that's goofy. He's made an awful mistake, because his new face can't open the safe's retinal lock, leaving Bart with the key to Frinkenstein's millions. This story was alright, but it seems to suffer from what most of these do, where a solution just happens to fall into the main character's lap. It's funny once or twice, but not when every story has it happen. Right, we've got one final Simpson story for you this year, and it rhymes, so rather than narrate it, I'll just bloody read it to you. This is from Duff's Till Dawn. So you've come for a tale on this All Hallows Eve that'll fill you all up full of dread. Well, beware, lads and lassies, you'll fear to believe what I say, 'cause you'll wish you were dead. It all started one night down at Moe's Corner Pub, where the barflies and rummies convene, when Professor Frink came and drank down with a glug a half bottle of scotch from the scene. Now the usual patrons took notice of this, and they let out a cheer of respect. But old Frink gave a glare, the sort no one could miss, not the kind of thing one would expect. That's when Barney, the lush, let erupt a keen burp from the bowels and depths of his gut. And then Homer, he stood very quick from his stool, 'cause he thought the sound came from his butt. Frink leapt to his feet, pulling out from his coat a strange gadget he'd made in his shop, telling all who could hear, "There's a beast on the loose, maybe someone should go call a cop." It was right about then that the barkeep confessed that he wouldn't condone silly tales. He felt ghouls were for kids, not for guests in his bar, and the talk of them might affect sales. Frink just levelled his gaze, switching on his device, and yelled, "Jinkies, it's just as I feared." Pointing clearly at Moe, he proclaimed with a shout, "I'm detecting some things that are weird." "Hey now, buddy," Moe said. "Don't come walking in here, pointing fingers and using big talk." But Frink tried to explain, "There's a creature afoot that escaped from my lab down the block." Barney, Homer and Moe, and the rest of the bar, peered at Frink like the man was a fool. And then Homer let loose with a mind-numbing squeal. At the end of the bar crouched a ghoul. It was maybe a foot from its head to its toe, with some lizard-like spikes down its back. and a beak-like syringe thing below its dark eyes that forebode an oncoming attack. Mo ducked under his bar, springing up with his gun that he kept there for times such as this. But the beast, much too quick, plunged its beak in Mo's neck, draining Mo with a blood-sucking kiss. Then Chief Wiggum strolled in, just fresh from his beat, only wanting to drink down a beer, when the thing made a jump straight atop Wiggum's head and proceeded to puncture his ear. Old Man Jasper was next, with a poke through his neck, followed soon by the bumblebee guy. Then the sea captain dropped with a death rattle, "Arr, there were few people left there to die." Homer J. Simpson was still at the bar when the creature looked round for more blood. It haunched over, then sprang at old Homer's round head, landing right there on top with a thud. As the beast planned its meal, a new thing caught its eye, the man down near the counter's last stool. Barney flat on his back, his head under the tap, all that flesh caused the creature to drool. It left Homer's head for the quivering gut of poor Barney, too drunken to fight, and it sank its sharp beak through that fat tummy wall, not suspecting it'd be its last bite. As it sucked, the thing's face showed that something was wrong, and it let out a burp from its beak. Barney's contents had made the beast drunk as a skunk, and soon down to the floor fell the freak. Chupacabras, said Frink, was what we called the beast, since it liked to drink blood from a goat. If there's one thing we've grown in the lab that I fear, I assure you this thing gets my vote. So my friend, thank your stars that this drunkard was here, or the beast wouldn't be where it lay. Homer smiled, content that his life had been spared, because once again, beer saved the day. So sleep lightly, me lads, when you lay down for bed, and you might want to leave on a light, for who knows just what else might escape from Frink's lab. And with that, I must bid you good night.